Hi, I'm Kara with Team Peace. Let's take a few minutes to strengthen our nervous systems together. This practice is called the 4-7-8 breath. But before we get started, I'm going to invite you to just take a moment to check in and see what your nervous system state is right now. So if it's helpful for you to take a few breaths and check in with your breath, or wiggle your seat into your chair, feel your feet on the ground, go ahead and do that. And then just give yourself a moment to check in. How are you feeling right now? So this practice is one that it's helpful if you've done some other breathing practices before and that they feel fairly comfortable to you. 1-to-1 breathing, 1-to-2 breathing, and box breathing are all prerequisites for this way of breathing, for this specific technique. And that's because we'll be holding our breath a little longer than we did for box breathing, and we'll be focusing on a pretty long exhale. Now, when I talked about 1-to-2 breathing and the levels of carbon dioxide and oxygen in the bloodstream, this practice really helps you to train your body to be able to come back to that state or to find that balanced state more quickly. So it can be very helpful to do, but it does take a little practice, and you might need to do some simpler exercises first. So let's get started by just getting ourselves comfortable, and that could be seated in your chair, standing up, or even sitting on the floor or laying down if that's okay for your classroom and with your teacher. Once you get yourself settled into a position that's comfortable for you, just start breathing normally and naturally. Just start to bring your attention to your breath. Now let's move into some 1-to-1 breathing, where you breathe in for the same count as you breathe out. So you might want to try breathing in for 4 and breathing out for 4. Once that feels comfortable, then start to increase your exhales so that you're breathing in for 4, and if possible, breathe all the way out for 8 counts. Now we'll add a pause between the inhales and the exhales. So after you breathe in for 4, you try to hold your breath for 7 counts. If that feels too long, just shorten it to whatever works for you. And then try breathing out for 8. So you may have to start with just holding for 2 or 3 counts before you exhale. But then if it's comfortable, try to extend that pause, that holding of your breath. And breathe all the way out when you're ready. Breathing out for 8 if you can. If this starts to feel like a strain or creates more anxiety, then you need to back off, do a different exercise, or just completely stop and breathe normally and naturally until you feel ready to try it again. Just remember, some of these things take more practice than others. If you're still working with this exercise, do it a couple more times. you can start to finish up. And when you're done, just go back to any way of breathing that feels good to you. And as always, if it's helpful to kind of shake out your hands or roll your shoulders or do a stretch, do what feels good to you as you check in and see how this exercise impacted you. Just notice how it made you feel. So that's all for today. Thanks, as always, for practicing with Team Peace.